And this is the drive that the players will take through the centre of Madrid, about 25-30 minutes away from the stadium, and another edition of the biggest night of their lives. They're headed for the Metropolitano. It's the home of Atletico Madrid, the Calderon's replacement. It has been red hot here all week. The traffic has not been too bad, but then, of course, they probably weren't planning for the whole of Liverpool to be headed this way to see another massive occasion like this. They'll have had the Copa del Rey here before, but the steep descent down the three tiers of this stadium will create a wall of noise much bigger than the 68,000 capacity that will be inside here tomorrow night. As you see, the Liverpool bus just making its way. And we're also joined tonight, as we look through this final training session of Jurgen Klopp and his squad, by two men who have lived the dream all of us had. All of you watching at home, and me as well. They represented this fantastic club, and we'll have a decent insight into what these players are going through on a night like this. Welcome to John Aldridge and Jason McAteer. How are your nerves ahead of the game?
I think there'll be a lot more come this time tomorrow. You know, it's a little bit intimidating, the thought of this fantastic team. In my opinion, one of the greatest Liverpool teams I've saw. If not, well, it's right up there with the best. You know, doing what we've done this year and walking away with nothing. So that's the one thing nagging in the back of my head. It really is, you know. But you've got to be positive. If we play to our extremities and play the way we can, then we've got one hell of a chance of lifting this Mr. Big E's for the sixth time.
I've got to be honest, I think this time last year I was apprehensive and nervous. Looking at the quality of the opposition we were facing with Real Madrid, they'd won it 3 times in the previous 4 years. Plenty of experience at this level. You know, we were going in, although we'd had a Europa League final, we were going in relatively inexperienced of something of this magnitude. And it played out that way. It wasn't a great night for us. We lost Mo Salah to an injury. The impetus then went on to Real Madrid, who won the ball higher up. They ended up winning the game. But this time around, I hate saying it, but I am quietly confident. I think the experience of that, the rawness, it'll still irk with the players, that feeling. It never leaves you a losing feeling, does it?
It's especially in the manner which we lost it last year.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't play bad. We had our moments in the game. It's just obviously the carious moments which cost us massively. You know, and on the biggest stage you can't make a mistake like that on one occasion, never mind two. And it was a horrible, horrible way to lose it. And that's still embedded in deep in the minds, as Jason said. And you know, it gives you.
You always want to put it right, don't you?
Yeah, it gives you a little bit more incentive, if that makes sense, because your incentive is there, your 100% is there, but that hurt. You don't want to go through that hurt again. Take it from me, you don't want. And 1988 was very hurtful in the FA Cup, you know, for all of us, you know, the penalty and whatever. 89 and what happened, you just feel it's got to be. You can't. You don't want to go in the dressing room afterwards, get in the bath and feel that horrible way. So. You know, the lads will know what they want to do.
And it's funny, really, because you do reflect straight at the final whistle. You know, you're on your knees. There was tears for me in the cup final '96, and then afterwards you picked up, and everyone then, you know, you have a drink and you try and get over it. But it's only when you get home and you reflect, you know, on your own, where you think to yourself, could I have done better? Could I have done something else? Could it have gone slightly different? Could we have had a bit of luck here? And then you think about it, and then the season starts again, and then it's underway again, and you might forget it for a while, but when you finish as a player, you look back at your career and you think, oh, I really wish I'd won that cup final that year.
Obviously a very close group of players, as we've talked about so many times this season, but making their way into the stadium as they have done there, and that drive to the ground, this is where it's all going to happen again for them. Will they be nervous? Will they be eager to get out here just to get that nervous energy out of their legs, get the kit on and play the role of football?
The nerves will be all right at the moment. Look forward to a training session. It's tomorrow, isn't it? The big day tonight. You know, they'll find it hard to sleep. You know, if they don't take a tablet, which you probably will this day and age. You know, but you know, it's the way you handle the pressure going to the game tomorrow. You know, because it can drain your legs. It can drain your legs, you know. But I always remember the '88 Cup final, and I didn't play particularly well. The first FA Cup final, and in them days it was huge, wasn't it? It was really massive. Oh, yeah. And I got on, I thought, oh, my nervous energy took everything away from me. You can't let that happen. And the staff and Jurgen make sure the preparation will be meticulous, and the players will be, you know, 100% prepared.
Footballers are creatures of routine and habit, aren't we? We kick into football mode. And for these lads, it'll be probably getting on the plane. You know, they'll probably want to sit next to who they feel comfortable comfortable with.
So the superstition.
Oh, the superstitions kick in, yeah. You know, you'll sit it, and they might listen to the same music. They might try and relax. I mean, there's a lot more entertainment to be had now with iPads and stuff. It wasn't quite like that. It certainly wasn't like that in all those days. The abacus, I think, was it. And then obviously, you know, they've come from the stadium. They'll go into the hotel rooms. The room together. I don't think they're room together now.
No. It's really, it's you know, excitement. The day before, you know, everything's great now. You sleep tonight. Tomorrow's different.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's a little bit apprehensive at times, you know, because you know it's the biggie, and that's what you've got to deal with that accordingly.
This is like this moment now is like maybe for a boxer, you know, just wanting to. You want to play now. You know, you you get your surroundings, but you want to kick off now and play it. It's the waiting game now, and it's the, like Aldo said, it's the preparation. You want a good night's sleep. You're praying you get a good night's sleep. You're praying it just all goes well, and then in the morning you'll get up. And for me, it was, you know, you get up at the same time. You will then maybe eat the same thing for breakfast. Yeah. You then go for a walk. We used to go for a walk, didn't we? Just to chill and take in a bit of the atmosphere. And then it'll be back in. You'll have a bit of lunch maybe. And then you'll go to bed. You'll have a sleep. Then you'll get up pre-match. That'll be the same as what it always usually is for the players. And then, like, the tactics then kick in because they'll have a meeting, and then they're on the way to the game. They'll sit in the same seat on the bus. They are creatures of habit and routine, footballers.
You just want that. You want that ball on the centre circle, and you want to kick off.
Yeah.
You want to get the game on the way because the tension. You just want to play the game, win the game, then have a bevy and celebrate. Hopefully.
This would be quite a selfish existence for players in one sense, and there's not really been any kind of rhyme or reason to how Jurgen Klopp has done it. Some managers name their team the day before, some might make them wait like Rafa Benitez did an hour and a half before kick-off. But going through your mind now is your only thought in your mind, I hope I'm playing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to be fair, you know, I think we're looking at the team, and, you know, we know the back four.
Back five.
We back five, the goalkeeper. We know the front three, for me. It's the other three. You know, someone like Milner or Wijnaldum, one of them are going to miss out, which is hard, and there's always that story in cup finals, but, you know, it is what it is.
How difficult is that then if you are
it's difficult for the manager, it's difficult for the player.
Question in his mind.
When you've played and been involved, and both of them have been involved massively in this run, brilliantly. They've been everything that they have to have done to get us where we are, and it's no fault of theirs. You know, that you know, they're on the bench, you know, but it's the manager's decision at the end of the day. The thing is, they will probably get on the pitch some way or form, and hopefully get that winner's medal, which they thoroughly deserve at the end of the day. But it's still very hard to take.
You lost my attention there because the coolest man in football just walked past.
Did he, man? Pirlo was walking past and just got your attention slightly. Jurgen Klopp, who's just come out onto the pitch to have a little bit of a look around as well. You do wonder about his story. He did an interview with Jamie Carragher today where he talks about being a 4 or 5-year-old getting in the bath and his mum putting the radio on for a Champions League final. He's saying Liverpool nearly always involved, and here he is now at the head of that, Aldo, as manager of Liverpool with the attempt to make history again.
Well, it must be a dream for him. You know, we're talking at the start of the show, how much of a dream was it for me and Jason to play for our beloved club? You know, massive. So, you know, for him to have done what he's done, this is the 3rd year he's got us to a European final, all right, European. That's some achievement. It's absolutely mega achievement. Just hope, and like himself, he needs to get us over the line, help get us over the line this time.
He knows the importance of a CV needs silverware on it. You know, for as good as he's been, he knows you at this day and age, you're judged on success and what you bring to the football club. Now, we all know, you know, working for the club, how good the club's moved on, the foundations are solid now, where we're going, you know, what we're striving to do. You know, behind the scenes is extremely solid at this football club, and he's part of that. But he will know for himself that he'll want a bit of silverware somewhere. He's, like John said, he's missed out on the Europa League, he's missed out on domestic cups, and he's missed out on Champions League last season. For me, this is out of all three of them, this is the best opportunity of winning something of this magnitude, and he will know that. Now, they lose it, the psychological damage is massive, because he knows this is the main chance that he's had over them last 3 years.
Despite what he says, because he says we win it, we lose it, we just carry on. I mean, is it different to reality?
Well, I mean, that's a manager talking, that's him talking, but we're talking behind the scenes, and when he shuts his own front door, sure he'll know what an opportunity he had to win that Champions League and get that monkey off his back. But it also filters into the dressing room. You don't never want to be the nearly men. We had that tag. You know, my team, we were always the nearly men. We nearly won the Premier League. We nearly won the FA Cup. We nearly won the League Cup. And as a player, you finish and you leave the club and you think, you know, I mean, we have a laugh about it now. And, you know, John just mentioned it. Steve McMahon mentioned, you know, I'm the only player who's played for Liverpool, never won anything for 4 years. I know we have a laugh about it, but it hurts me.
Yeah.
It absolutely hurts me, because how can you play for Liverpool and not win anything? And some of these players, they don't want that monkey on the back. But you don't. You're not got a given right to win anything, but I really hope that this lot wins something, because they deserve it. They really do.
If ever a Liverpool team deserves something,
It's this, isn't it?
These are the ones.
And
these are
Jürgen.
the lads, what they've done. And Jürgen as well. I think there's more pressure on us this year. You know, last year, everyone
to win it.
presumed, you know, that Madrid were too good for us and with their experience. And it turned out that we know, and the reasons what we said at the start show, Carrick mainly. You know, this one, I think for what it stands for Liverpool Football Club and the hype and everything, there's more pressure on us this year.
The other thing as well is we've probably been favourites. We haven't been favourites since probably maybe Cardiff all them years ago.
Well, I don't know,
West
maybe
Ham.
against, I know Sevilla had that history, but I think people expected us to go and beat Sevilla, didn't they? In the
Yeah, there was an
Yes.
expectation, but were we favourites? I don't know, because you know Unai Emery, he'd been there before, hadn't he? He knew what they were doing, and they knew what they were doing in that competition. We were relatively new, you know, as experience goes in that kind of final. But, you know, we are massive favourites for this game, and John may be right. There may be something psychologically in that we go into with favourites. Is that a good thing? Not always.
I think with this team, it won't, you know, I think we've got a lot more characters than the Seville game. We've got talkers on the pitch now.
Yeah, leaders.
Leaders on the. We didn't in the Seville game.
Yeah.
We got the lead half time, couldn't see it through, lack of inexperience, lack of leaders. The goalkeeper's a leader, Van Dijk's a leader, Henderson's a leader, Milner's a leader. We've got leaders all over. The fullbacks, you know, Robinson.
Yeah.
Hey, absolutely. We've got them all over the park now, which is a massive difference when your game management comes hand.
I think the big plus, you can't take the quality away of what this team offers individually. But I think, you know, looking back to our Irish days, team spirit and bonding and wanting to run that extra yard for each other is massive. And the manager installs that, and then the players get a bond, whether it's, you know, for us it was going out at times, wasn't it? But then when the game come around, you know, I'd look at Aldo and I'd look at some of the other players on the pitch, and you'd think, you know, I'd run an extra mile for him.
Yeah.
You know, he's me mate. You know, I'd never let him down. You know, if it's going to go off, I'm going to be there. I'm going to fight his corner, and I'm going to fight a battle. And we got into some scraps, didn't we? And we, you know, and we were there for each other, and we were right up for it. And, you know, that buzz you get from that team spirit, from that bond, you know, you can't
These
buy
lads have
that.
got that,
And
James,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They've got that, Liverpool.
I think we can all identify with that as fans when we saw what happened at Anfield after the new camp, didn't we? And all the antagonism going on between.
Well, the stories that come out
Suarez
behind
and
it,
Messi,
and Robertson and Messi, and, you know, what went off in the tunnel and all these kind of things, and everyone got involved. You know, that all played into the pantomime of that game, and that's what got through them. You know, they were, you know, did we believe we were going to go through that night? Probably not.
No.
Did I think we were going to win the game? Yeah, they did. But the lads were always going to give it everything. You know, and what they had is they had a little bit extra because they had that team spirit.
Yeah.
And that's what gets you over the line. And we played in games like that. Where, you know, the Holland game for me, you know, John playing in the World Cup in 1990. You know, we had that with that Irish squad. And that little bit more, that little bit extra that you'd have as a team, that can get you over the line sometimes. And that's what Barcelona was.
And also, you know, that's not just the players. Jürgen's had a big hand in
Absolutely.
You know, in gelling them.
Absolutely.
Not on the field, but off the field as well. Because it's not easy this day and age. Okay, there's a drinking culture, you know, years gone by, and we could gel by going out and have a beer or two or whatever. Yeah.
How do you do it now?
It's difficult, but Jürgen's done it.
Done it.
You see the lads, you hear them, and you know, what they say is, you know, what you see is what you get. They're not hiding and pretending to be mate. We've seen it on LFC TV when they have the interviews together. Hey, you know, they all get on infamously, and you see the way they reacted after the Barcelona game and in other games this year. They're all together, and that's, I tell you what, that takes.
It's a good point what you just made there. I mean, you were there in Marbella. We're at a different culture now, aren't we? You know, you were at the training camp. You know, for us it was, you know, a social thing that might bring us together. But obviously you've been around them in that environment. That doesn't happen anymore. You know, that. Every now and again they might be allowed maybe at dinner or something to have a couple of glasses of wine, but that culture's definitely gone. It's a different culture now. But you've spent time around them and stuff. That, you know, they do they are a very, very close bunch, aren't
Yeah,
they?
and I think he fosters that and had done from the start, that he feels that, like you say, that culture of going out drinking together has gone, but, you know, he wants them to sit down with their families, he wants them to be a close unit. I think you see that now, although you made the point before about the Sevilla game. Now you look 1 to 11, there's no superstars, they're all equal part of this jigsaw, aren't they?
We look, hey, we know there's big players in there, but to each other, you know, they're just who they are. You know, Virgil van Dijk, you know, he's Titanic. But to the players, they look up to him, but he's one of the bunch. You know, whereas years gone by, it was Stevie G. There's Cara, you know, these lads, you know. It's a level playing field with these, you know, and it's got us where we are. You know, last year, to get to 2 finals, you know, in 2 years of this magnitude, takes some doing.
I think the big thing is they all know that individually they've got jobs to do, but they look at, like Mo Salah will look at Van Dijk and he'll know his importance. He might not score goals, but keeping a clean sheet is enormous in a football match. So, you know, he knows the importance of doing that and what he brings to the team. They all know each other.
What will be going through his mind specifically, although he had that nightmare of a final last year? There will be more riding on this, arguably, for him than anybody.
It's the biggest game of his career, bar none, and he knows, you know, the hurt that was going through his mind when he done his shoulder last year. You know, the hurt of us losing the game, you know, all in one category. He knows tomorrow that he's got to play well. Yeah. He knows he's such a massive player for us. He knows if he plays well and he gets on a score sheet, we have a fantastic chance of winning the game. So he knows that. It's massive for him, massive for us, but for him personally, he knows after last year what it means.
You just mentioned the big fella there before, Virgil van Dijk. The one thing that just strikes you about him always when you see him is how relaxed does he look, how in control does he look.
Well, that goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show. You know, players...
He looks like he's just out for a stroll.
Well, yeah, they get into match mode, but they do it in their own way. You know, you look around the dressing room before the game, you know, Steve McManaman was very much like Virgil van Dijk. Very cool, very relaxed, reading the programme in his underpants 10 minutes before they run out and play.
What an image.
And then the buzzer would go and he'd throw his undies on, he'd put his boots on and off he'd go and play. You know, you get other players, I'd be walking around the dressing room like a pent-up animal trying to just waiting to get out and play. Other John Barnes would be in the bath for half an hour and then casually get out and get ready and go out and play. We all prepare differently, but Virgil's got his own way. You know, it's very relaxed. Takes it in his stride. You know, but don't get me wrong. We all need nerves. Elite sportsmen, they need nerves.
They survive on that, don't
exactly. It's just how you show it.
What do you think's going out of the mouth? I mean, not lip readers here, but what kind of messages do you think will be coming out of the manager at the moment?
He's probably just talking about obviously the training schedule now and what he wants them to do in the next hour or so. You know, to enjoy it, get a feel of the pitch, you know, get the pace of the pitch. Obviously, don't tackle each other. Whatever you do, don't go near each other.
You say that, you should have seen the pace of the training in Marbella last week. No shin pads. Everybody training like it was a Premier League game. And from the untrained eye, you're looking at it thinking exactly that. Stay away from each other. But so much was riding on it. They all played for places in the team. What are there now? Expected to probably be 2 new faces in the team, different to last year in the shape of Fabinho and also the goalkeeper. Where the midfield is concerned, we mentioned it before, Fabinho, arguably one of the players of this calendar year.
Well, it's just got better as the season gone. First we seen him, you know, early on in the season, I thought, well, he looks a little bit gangly, you know, not too sure. But hey, game by game, he's just come on. He's been magnificent. Barcelona game, absolutely tremendous. And other games as well. You know, he's a great buffer for the back four. You know, he does his job exactly the way the manager tells him to do it. And then what that's done is allow Henderson to go into this other role, which has lifted his spirits up and give him another objective, which he's been doing really, really well. You know, more creative, getting the odd goal or two. You know, that's given us an extra dimension in our play and an extra player.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, the goalie as well, absolutely fantastic against Barcelona. He was immense.
Eyes trained on this fellow though, Jason, as to how ready he is. He was given that extra week. His load was managed as well to get him back into full training.
As Tottenham is with Harry Kane, probably we are with Roberto Firmino, aren't we? You know, he's been a fantastic player. I think when we play at our best, he's part of it. You know, he's the glue, and he's the little piece of the jigsaw that when he plays well, they all feed off it. He dropped when he's got the appetite for the game. When he gets on the ball, he's creative. The other two come alive when he finds that little pocket.
What he does, Jace, he makes the space, doesn't he, behind him. As a forward,
he's
like
a very clever player.
Old-fashionedly, like Jason's on the right wing, and he plays it up to me. I'm playing it on. But what Firmino does, it's relative to the way the game's changed. He comes into midfield, he drags people where you don't want to be, which enhances the opportunity of Mane and Salah coming inside, getting into the holes that he creates, and it's very, very hard for the centre-half to make his mind up. Do we go with Firmino? Do we drop off with him? What do we do? And it's really tough, because if he drops off and turns and runs at you, that gives you another problem.
And it caused Tottenham problems, didn't it? I mean, Sanchez did that role almost as a centre-half or a number 6, depending on where Firmino went in the game, and that's going to be a big question mark for Tottenham, whether he starts, isn't it?
Well, exactly, yeah. I mean, you're talking about two managers who are tactically are up there with the best at the minute. They probably are the two best managers in the world at the minute, these two, and it's because they're meticulous with the tactics, the formations, the way they go about. They'll be trying to outfox each other. It'll be like a game of chess. They'll be trying to preempt each other's team. How they're going to play. Pochettino, when they won 4-1 at Wembley, I remember, we were all saying, they play off in the back. We're going to press. We're going to get high, like Liverpool do, and he just went back to front. Right, really quick. It was like suck them in, go back to front really quick. And I've got to be honest, Lovren had a bit of a torrid time and got taken off after half an hour. But he worked them out really quick, and he got the result from it. From that, Klopp has got the upper hand. And, probably the last 3 or 4 games, Klopp's come out on top a few times. But, yeah, it's a fascinating battle. But we've just talked about Firmino there with the ball. It's what he does without the ball as well. I mean, he's forever chasing. He starts the press. They all triggered off him. He's an extremely important player for the team, and I hope he's fit.
Let's talk about risk, though, Aldo, because he's not traditionally a manager that takes a lot of risks with players' conditions, but this is different, isn't it, a Champions League final? Will he play through pain if he needs to?
Yeah.
And name him in that starting 11?
Yeah, it's the last game of the season. Hey, it's a no-brainer. We need him. Even if he thinks there's only an hour in them, there's ways and means. We know you can get the injections, you can get certain things to help you along, legally, that is. And I think the manager will start him. If he gets a half, 60 minutes, he'll be delighted. Even more. Who knows? It's been 4 or 5 weeks now.
I'll tell you what's difficult in that situation is no one wants to miss a game in this magnitude. No player wants to miss this. Now, if you're 70% fit, I would say a good 99% of players will say they're 100% fit. They know they're carrying. I mean, I got whacked in a pre-game before the World Cup started, smashed. My knee was in tatters. I took loads of tablets. I had an injection to play. I told Mick McCarthy I was 100%. Was I? Absolutely not. I was probably 80%, 75, 80 at best. And I said to him, I'm fit, I'm 100%. And I got through the first half, and I come in half time, my knee was massive. And he looked at me, I was icing my knee, and he just went, you're coming off. And I felt I'd let him down a little bit because I lied, but I didn't want to miss the match. I didn't want to miss the game. No. So sometimes it's very difficult when a player will tell you he's 100% fit when he's not, and it's difficult to judge that. And well, what do you do?
You're right, but in our day, I have to say, training wasn't as intense as it is now.
Yeah.
When you watch him train, you see the way they move, just like that. The manager will know. You've seen Firmino over the last 2-3 years. He knows how he works in training. If he sees that floor, he'll think, but he'll know maybe just his movement, his presence might give us something.
I was going to ask you about that, Aldo, because they've got all of this sports science available to them now with all of the stats that they need. Does he strike you as a manager that will maybe leave that decision down to the player and say, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Do you feel he can start?
Yeah, I think if he's looking and he's watching him train today, and you'll know, we'll watch him, and you can have a look yourself. We're not daft, we watch football, and he looks okay. How do you feel afterwards? No, I feel great. Any reaction in the morning? No. There you go, you're away. If he trains well tonight, he'll play tomorrow.
Do you disagree with that, Jason?
Yeah, slightly. I think you've got two managers who aren't frightened to make big decisions. I think, Jurgen will, and like Pochettino with Harry Kane, they might think, listen, he's missed 4 or 5 games. They played well. Barcelona, they played well. Ajax. Do I want to upset it? Do I want to keep Kane? If it's 0-0, 1-1, 20 minutes to go, what an asset to bring on. The players are flagging. The heat is going to play its part. To bring Kane on for the last 20 minutes, what a weapon that is. I personally think that's what Pochettino will do. But even if Kane goes to him, listen, Gaffer, I'm 100%. I think Pochettino will go, no, I've made the decision. Jurgen,
Even with the
I
reputation
don't
that
know.
Harry Kane has, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
'Cause the
think
big managers
he's
make
been
big
out
decisions.
too long, Harry Kane. I think to go into a game of this magnitude, I think it's a huge decision to start him. The way they finished the season and the way they looked up front, you know, especially against Ajax, he gave him that different dimension. I think, Jason, I think I'll be very surprised if Harry Kane starts, because simply training's all right.
Yeah.
You know, match football, you know, is a hell of a lot different. But I'll tell you what, when we'll watch Firmino when we come back before then, and me and Jason will know straight away if he'll play tomorrow. If he looks good on that field tonight, he'll play tomorrow.
Can I ask you about the heat as well, because you played in Spanish humidity. It's really cool in comparison to what it's been like the last couple of days. We've been experiencing temperatures of maybe 28, 29 at this time of night.
They're expected that tomorrow.
It's a lot cooler now, though.
They are expected
I have
tomorrow.
to say, of a night time, it's okay. It's the humidity more than the heat. You know, in Italy, the World Cup, you know, in America,
94.
it was different because we played earlier in America, and it was the sun and the heat. It was really hard. But once the sun drops, the humidity and the heat's there. But it's easier. It's easier to play in of a night time. That's the reason, obviously, when it went to Sociedad, the games were starting at 7 o'clock at night and 8. I played at Barcelona one night, extra time, it was 12 o'clock. I looked at the list at 12 o'clock at night. You know, went on that long, you know, 3-all game. So, to me, I think that's okay. I think they can handle that.
I always remember '94. We were on the bench, and I remember Jack Charlton. It was over 100 degrees, and I remember Jack Charlton telling me to go and warm up. I was thinking, Jack, it's 100 degrees. I can't get any hotter.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got on the pitch. I got to be honest, it didn't affect me. I was 24. I was very, very fit. You know, as you get older, it affects you, doesn't it? But
Your performance, it looked like it did affect you, Jason.
thanks very much. Thanks, John.
Andrea Pirlo just walking past our camera position at the moment as well. He gave a very cool thumbs up. I've never seen you look so dewy-eyed since you got married there, as to how you just looked at him.
There's a divorce on the cards the way you give me the thumbs up there.
Where the actual occasion goes, although you travelled out this afternoon, the Liverpool fans who will arrive here in their numbers, it's probably very safe to say 16,000 officially the capacity. There'll be lots more than that inside here. But what are they like? What's the atmosphere like at the minute?
They're all full of it, aren't they? They're full of beans. They're all enjoying themselves. Hey, since 1977, you know, even Bruges before then, Liverpool fans are different. So the only fans that come close to Liverpool fans when they travel is Celtic. There'll be 50, 60,000 here tomorrow. You know, okay, there's only... Yeah, easy. I'm being very conservative there. You know, they're just fantastic, passionate, love it, greatest fans in the world for me. You know, and they'll be here. You know, some will try and black their way in. That's the way they do. They've done it over the years, and I have to say, up to get in. But be careful. I don't mean just be careful.
Do you know what I mean? We were talking about it yesterday. You look at European finals. I mean, we mentioned it today. You know, UEFA sometimes have let themselves down with venues, and you know, you look at the Europa League final midweek, and it was a really disappointment to see empty seats, and you know, the logistics for two English teams to get there was really poor. But you know, you look at finals, you've got Paris, you've got Rome. You know, they're fitting venues to win a Champions League, aren't they? Or European Cup. This has got that feel. This is like one of them grounds, one of them moments. Madrid, you think 19 winners. How nice is that? You know, it's just got that aura. Madrid steeped in European history, innit? Yeah. I mean, with Real Madrid down the road, you got Atletico who've done so well in European competitions over the years. You know, it's just all set up, and I just hope it goes to plan. He's
got a point, hasn't he? We would have loved to have won it in Kiev last year, wouldn't we, against Real Madrid, and end that period of legacy that they had. But this feels like it's the moment, doesn't it, for number 6?
It's, to be fair, there's not many better stadium. I've seen this for a long time. Kiev was a lovely stadium. This is a proper football stadium. It's absolutely magnificent, right down to the fine details of the roof. You know, it's great to win it anywhere, but especially by getting beat by Madrid last year, it'd be nice to go and win it in Madrid.
Well, yeah, there's a little bit of poetic justice perhaps in that, isn't there, for what happened last year. Seeing pictures here of Roberto Firmino, who looks cool and calm. Also pictures before of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who you'll remember was in tears at the end of that occasion last year. The season ended against Roma. People are wondering whether there could be still a dramatic moment to come for this season for all of the work that he's done to get back fit again as well.
Absolutely, it could be an option, couldn't he? It's been a long road for him, and you know, we all felt the pain when he got that injury. I don't think we all realised the extent when we seen it. We didn't think it was as bad as it was, but it ended up being a horrific injury. And an injured player, it's a terrible time, isn't it? It's lonely. There's moments you think you're never coming back. There's moments you think you're never going to come back to a standard you've reached. You know, he just growing into his Liverpool skin, hadn't he? He was starting to play well,
yeah,
and you know the knockers were starting to go the other way, and you know he was becoming a real plus for Liverpool. To start him or to bring him off the bench, and then that went and happened, and you never know, it could be written in the stars that it's his moment.
But do you know one thing people tend to forget about Oxlade-Chamberlain? You know, he played for Arsenal in wide position for so long, came to Liverpool in a different position, in midfield, attacking midfield role, and at first he took a bit of a time, but all of a sudden, Manchester City game when we've done him 3, how good did he play? How brilliant was he? You know, and in other games he's brilliant. So he just got to adapt and played so well in that position when that horrible, you know, the bottle came.
Stale at Arsenal. You know, sometimes you can be in a club too long,
wasn't he?
But when you go into a role where you want to play as well, and then he started like to express himself. He's brilliant. But then, as Jason said, to go a whole year or so and be out, and he's had a couple of knockbacks, you know, since then. But what he's had, and I have to say, the reaction from the fans would have been brilliant for him when he was at Anfield the other week. On a couple of occasions, he's come on, and for the club to give him an extra year on his contract, I think that was a great touch by the club.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tremendous club. You know, business went out the window in many ways, which some clubs mightn't have done that, you know, but they've given another extra year to help him achieve what he wants to achieve, really.
Big year for him next year, regardless of what happens. And he's talked about other players who've gone through that injury spell as well. Didi Hamann just coming past. He can do what he...
Say hello.
Are you coming in to say hello to us?
LFC TV, mate.
Somebody who's won this Champions League in 2005. We are live, did he?
That's the best I've ever seen you dressed. You don't write, you don't text, you don't ring.
I haven't got much time.
How are you feeling about this game?
Good. I think if you go through the teams, I think in every department they're slightly better, Liverpool, and they've got a better bench. Because I think last year you saw Emre Can and Lallana came on. They've both been injured for 3 or 4 months. They didn't have a bench, and you know, I think we've got a better keeper this year. I think Fabinho made a big difference, and because there will be a time where you have to react to something, whether defensively or maybe you need a goal, and I think we're far better equipped this year than we were last year.
We were talking about impact subs before. He wasn't a bad one, was he, in 2005?
One of the best.
We were
just a little bit,
down.
wasn't he?
I mean, you just know, don't you, that there will be somebody that maybe has a story to tell that we're maybe not expecting. I mean, it was you all of those years ago. Just talk us through what the mindset will be of these players that maybe aren't expecting to be in that starting 11 at the moment. You were, of course, but they are in a different position.
Well, you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready to make a change, and I'm not sure what the manager does, whether he tells them the day before that they play or not play. I always felt it's not necessary to know it a day before, because if you know it, you won't have the same tension going to the game than if you know you're not playing, and you just have to be ready. And you know, it was such a fantastic team effort, get 97 points to beat Barcelona 4-0 at home. You know, I've got no doubt whoever is needed or whoever will come on, that they'll do a job for the team and complement the others.
Just finally, before we let you go, because you're actually working for German TV tonight, but we met together in Bayern. How likely was this scenario, with Barcelona potentially standing in their way and Bayern Munich, that Liverpool will be here at another final so soon?
Well, I think with Liverpool there was every chance they're going to make it again, because they got to the final last year, they're better this year, so there must have been a chance. After the first leg against Barcelona, it didn't look too likely, and obviously very surprised the Spurs made it, because they had a lot of big teams to move out of the way. They did it, and what they did in the second half in Amsterdam, I think, should have everybody won for tomorrow. You know, that team never lies down. They never know when they're beat, and I think it'll be a tight affair. And I think nerves will play a big part, not making mistakes when the chips are down. And the lads done it fantastically the last 2 years. Hopefully, same again tomorrow.
Kaiser, always lovely to see you. Our second favourite Scouse German, isn't he? At the moment, behind Jurgen Klopp. But what a man as he goes off to probably speak to another 100 broadcasters.
There's a thing I have to say to, I don't think, because you've been out of the country, out to Liverpool last couple of days. I don't know if you're aware of it, but as the lads were setting off, and we were setting off this morning, there was someone had gone on by Garston, in between Garston and Speak, with this massive big load of grass, and actually put "never give up." Cut all the grass out where it says "never give up." It was, whoever done that, boss, absolutely brilliant. It sums our club up, brilliant.
Maybe we can maybe go back to 2005 as an occasion there, and Didi Haman's talking about the fact that you maybe, and famously he said that he learnt it from Gerard Houllier. If you're a player that's not in the starting 11, you have 2 minutes to be disappointed, and then you're back in the process of cheering on your teammates and getting them G'd up. This feels like that kind of dressing room.
It's not as easy as you think.
It is
told
hard.
You're not playing.
It is hard. You know, the one person, and I mentioned it before, whoever doesn't play, and there's one that's going to be extremely hurt. It is hard when he is the team. You're going to be absolutely gutted, devastated. But as you say, you know, things happen in a game. You know, you could come on and be the hero. Whilst you know you're down, you know that there's a chance you're getting on, and you've got to be prepared for when that happens to go, you know, to go and make the difference.
In all honesty, your substitutes, in reality, are your most important people, because you're going to need them at some point.
Yeah.
You know, and there is going to be disappointment. But this is a manager who knows how to manage men. He knows how to manage that emotion. He knows how to, you know, to talk to them, put his arm around them and say, listen, it's just not your time. You know, I need to do something else, but I'm going to need you at some point. And he's going to make them feel special. He's going to make them feel that when they come on, they're going to make a difference. They're not a player that he doesn't fancy or he doesn't like or he doesn't think's good enough to play. He's going to make them feel like they're part of it, and they are the most important people, the lads on the bench, the lads in the squad, the ones who aren't going to start, because he's going to need them at some point, and he's going to need them to give 120%.
And also, you know, it's a good quote what Diddy said there about the bench last year. You know, we knew once we went behind, we're looking at the bench and we're going, Lallana, you know, and you're going, with all due respect, it didn't really, you know.
And he wasn't really fit either, was he, Adam Lallana? He was coming back from an injury
There was no
himself.
one you're thinking, you know, who's going to really get on the pitch and really affect the game. But now we have got people on the bench. Whoever they are, we know we've got three lads, possibly four, who can go and do something if it was going wrong, which is, you know, from where we were this time last year. Again, the managers enhanced the squad and the team massively.
I mean, we're just looking at Gini Wijnaldum. He's probably been his go-to man this season, hasn't he? But that midfield area has always been a bone of contention. Every week we do Liverpool TV, we try and pick our team, and like John mentioned early on in the programme, you know, the front three and the back five pick themselves, but that front three out of any of 7 players, you know, have got a right to be in the team, you know, and this is where the managers will try and outfox each other. The Jürgen, you know, that midfield, does he go more expansive and play Henderson and Wijnaldum in further positions and Fabinho holding? You know, does he surprise everyone and throw Shaqiri in? You know, does he surprise everyone and change from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1? I think he'll go 4-3-3, and I think he'll go Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho sit.
That's why I think the team's, you know, set in stone.
But they're out trying to outfox each other. Yeah. You know, it's like that's probably the team.
There won't be any surprises, though, will there? For Tottenham or for Liverpool, they know what every different player is capable of. And
the only surprise on the Tottenham we were talking about, will he play Harry Kane? You know, other than that, we know their team.
Will he play 3 at the back? He started 3 at the back against us at Anfield and then changed. In the second half, it suited them a lot more to go forward at the back. And they, to be in all honesty, they were the better team second half, and they should have won the game.
Only because, in my opinion, we were chasing the game. We knew we had to win that game. A draw wasn't sufficient enough to keep us on above Manchester City.
Good point.
And what we did, we were throwing men forward, and the corner where Sissoko should have scored, you know, we wouldn't have to do that tomorrow. Hopefully not anyway, you know. So whilst we were chasing the game and we weren't playing particularly well, they played really well and nearly capitalised on us.
They've talked about Trippier maybe not being up to standard to stop a fully at full tilt Sadio Mane, but who is at the moment? Exactly. He has been that good, hasn't he? I mean, Jamie Carragher comparing him to John Barnes in terms of how good he's been as a left winger.
Well, I disagree there, to be quite honest.
He's your favourite, isn't
he? Yeah, of all time. But Sadio's done brilliant. Hey, Golden Boot.
Yeah.
He's not a centre forward. He's won the Golden Boots along with the other players. But he's been brilliant. He's been our best striker this year. You know, and hopefully he can finish the season on a massive high because he is a big player. Hey. And Trippier has had a hard time with him in the past. Let's hope that's the case tomorrow.
Midfield-wise, Jason's touched on it there in terms of the individual players, but they haven't really got the creativity of, say, a Manchester City. But what they do force is mistakes from the other midfield. Liverpool's midfield. Yeah. The press causes so many problems when it works well.
Yeah, you're right.
That will be a real concern for Tottenham.
Well, it will, but they beat our press, didn't they, second half at Anfield? I know what John said is a valid point. You know, a draw wasn't good enough for us, and maybe we were a little bit too high at times, full backs pushed on, there was areas to exploit. You know, Pochettino is an extremely good manager at finding weaknesses in teams and exploiting them. That's one thing we've got to be careful of. You know, we do like to play our full backs high up and make it, you know, a 5-man midfield at times. But Pochettino knows that they're areas of, you know, where he can exploit Liverpool and get in behind them. Their team is going to be the one for me, what he goes with. You know, does he go with Sissoko? Does Winks come in? You know, how does he play? Does he play 3 behind a lone striker, Lucas Moura, like they did against Ajax, Son, Ali and Eriksen? You know, I mean, you go through their teams, they've got lots of quality.
Yeah, but there's no way they're going to play like Moura, you know, Dele Alli, Son, Keane, Eriksen.
They did,
but
but
they did against.
But they did against Ajax.
I was going to say, is there any way of them getting all of those players in the team?
No, you didn't mention Kane.
I didn't say. I'm just
sorry. Well, no,
yeah.
Kane won't play, but
That's what I'm saying.
you're still going to
So,
get Eriksen, Son, Moura, and Ali.
You're going to get 4 out of 5.
You're going to get 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, and just anybody won't put the 5 and leave Sissoko on his own. That's impossible. You just couldn't do that in a game of this magnitude against Liverpool.
Well, Sissoko and Winks.
Winks has been out for a while as well. You know, again, he's got to think about that. You know, but he's got Wanyama, who he knows no slouch.
Wanyama played against
Ajax.
Ajax.
He's a big, strong
I think
player.
he'll play Wanyama and Sissoko, and then he'll play the 3, and he'll play Moura up top on his own. And he was a threat, by the way.
He's their best player at the moment.
At the moment.
Him and Son, obviously,
Absolutely.
we know what they can do. They can be devastating, like all 3.
Yeah.
You know, on the day. So, you know, they've got an excellent forward.
I think
players.
the other thing with Tottenham, I think defensively, 3 years ago, best defensive record in the Premier League, outstanding. Over the last 2 seasons, the goals have crept up. They've conceded a few more. You know, and you've just said there, you know, is Rose and Trippier, are they up for the tasks against our players? For Tongan, Alderweireld, you know, they're probably the 2 mainstay centre halves. And obviously the keeper's got a mistake in him as well.
Yeah, well, we've seen that. But I think as well, Jace, I think you can get at them at the back. You know,
yeah,
you can get at most teams at the back, but the floor in Tottenham for me is not going forward. That speaks for itself.
Yeah.
It's defensively, as Jason said, and that's what the manager got to think. Does he go to 3 or does he go 4 or does he go 5? You know, I tell you what, he'll be having a nightmare about it all week because the way we score goals and the way we play.
You just wonder as well about his team selection, talking of nightmares there, because you've got Moura, who star man against the Ajax. I mean, all of those big games, they've done it without Harry Kane. So does he, if he brings Harry Kane in, I mean, that causes problems for players who he'll have told all season, be ready just in case, that want to play in the biggest game of their lives.
But the arguments, you know, I mean, we've mentioned Harry Kane. I don't think he will play, but there is a big argument to play him. I mean, they've lost 5 of the last 8 games of the season. They were out on the last legs, you know, and the results showed that. If Liverpool had played Tottenham straight after the end of the season, they would have steamrolled them. Tottenham were gone, but we've had a long rest now. It's a leveler for Tottenham.
Do you think it's a leveler for Tottenham, because there has been this argument that both teams will be fully rested, so there's nothing in it, but you think it's been a leveler for Tottenham?
I think it's more of a leveler because I think Tottenham were gone.
We were in Greek form. We were, as you say, we were in all the notes. You know, even last game of the season, maybe we went great, but we still could have won 3 or 4-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yeah. You know, we were in full flow, whereas they were just, you know,
tapering away.
Yeah, they were good, they were bad, they were indifferent, but the rest, you know, and it's hard. It is hard, you know, when we've had like 3 weeks rest without really playing. And perhaps I think that's helped Tottenham more so now.
And form does go out the window in a massive cup final. It does, you know. And I've mentioned it there. They lost 5 out of the last 8, but they won't be thinking of that. This is a one-off game. They've had plenty of rest. Tottenham, you know, they've got players back from injury. You know, they'll be right up for it. They'll be buzzing. The adrenaline will be pumping. You know, they've got to handle all that. Yeah, they have. But it's been more of a level of the rest than what it has been for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool would have wanted to go straight away.
Yeah.
And it has been the longest break, hasn't it, in record of the end of a domestic season to this.
To be fair, I don't get UEFA, to be quite honest, at times.
No, I don't get it.
So I don't know. They made up, you know, excuses along the way, but it's just you should think about that before the season starts.
I think there's probably a report, isn't there, of some kind of thesis that comes out after this game. What was the best preparation? Liverpool gave the players a week off, then they went to Marbella for a training camp to try and acclimatise, where Tottenham stayed in London.
Yeah. Well, the results will dictate that.
Exactly.
Tottenham will come in early as well.
They came in on Wednesday, didn't they? So whose was the better preparation?
The result
one thing I will say that really scares me a little bit, like when we went off the boil after Christmas, we had 2 quick breaks in succession. I think Dubai, and then we went back to Spain or Tenerife or wherever. We had 2 quick breaks, And after that, it took us time to get into, get into our mode, get the mojo back. So I just hope that won't have happened in the last 3 weeks with having a break, but trust the manager.
Yeah. What would you have preferred in that case? Because he feels that mentally as well as physically, and possibly, arguably even greater is the mental need to just get away from football for a few days.
I would have liked to have gone away. Without sounding horrible, I would like to get away from like the missus and the kids, but to get my head on it. Do you know what I mean? Because you sleep better. Yeah, you're not in your own bed, but you sleep better, and you get up and your food's made for you, and and all you're thinking about is football and preparation. You're taken away from all the distractions that might be around if you're at home. Your missus might want to go to IKEA and do a bit of shopping. You might have to do that.
There are other shops available.
Well, do you know what I mean? It's like you're just taken out of that environment, and plus, what we mentioned before on the show is it brings massive team bonding. You were around the lads, you've seen what they were like. It provides that as well, doesn't it? The opportunity to bond.
I've never seen a group of players at Liverpool. I mean, I've been around this club for 10 years, maybe a little bit longer in different jobs, but I've never seen a group of players as close as this. And they talk about the modern game changing, but they're all friends. There's no cliques anymore, and there have been historically.
Liverpool have always been like that, though, Pete. I mean, my team, all those teams, we're still friends now.
Yeah.
We still go out for dinner now. We still go on nights out. We meet up. You know what it's like at Christmas. You've been on a few of them. We come mob-handed, 16, 18, 20 people will come, from all different generations. These are going to be no different, in 20 years' time. I'm hoping, I'm still around, but I'll be going for Christmas, and James Milner will be coming for a pint, and Jordan Henderson and Robbo and stuff. But that's what will happen.
You can envisage that, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Because they're part, they get it, don't they? They get what this club's all about.
Absolutely.
I think again, a lot of that you've got to thank Jurgen Klopp for, to letting them know, making them aware of the history of the club, and what it means, and the passion within the club and the fans, and these players have got the moment tomorrow to really etch the names in history as legends.
What I think's been brilliant, sorry, just to cut you off, is the TV's played its part in that. I've got to mention Liverpool TV. I've been watching the build-up to the Champions League final all season, and some of the things that they put together. I mean, I watched one with you on it today. They actually bring a tear to your eye.
You have to do a contract.
Yeah. No, but in all honesty, right?
No,
I'm watching 3-minute, 4-minute clips to music of Paris and Rome, AK scoring that goal. You're coming on and looking over the pitch. There was a moment in it where Trent kisses his badge, where the camera's caught him. It wasn't staged. It was choking me up.
No.
Now, if I was a player watching that, I'm watching Alan Kennedy score, and Kenny chipped the keeper in '78, and Tommy Smith scoring a header, and Suey and
they're all
Tomo
etched in my brain, because I've seen them all. I was there at most of the games, and some of the younger, younger generation, I've seen it, so it's very important. And I think LFC TV is the best show on the planet, by the way.
Are you after the contract?
He's not after the contract.
It is, because more money. No, I'm talking. I love it. I watch when you're watching the telly's rubbish. I just go, there you go, bang, LFC TV, 425 on, and I watch different things. And I have a little look what's on, and it is. I'm not playing it up, but it's absolutely fantastic. And Jason's right. We do a lot of things what no club can do because of the history.
Or show.
You're talking about these boss nights. Come on, what other club on the planet could do that? None. No one to do it. It's the passion. Oh, do you think Madrid fans would go out?
I'm not saying about the fans. I'm talking about the legacy and the history of the club.
No,
Liverpool and Madrid.
How'd you say boss in Spanish?
I'm just saying.
What's their equivalent to that? Boss?
Boss, Presidente. No,
does that mean president?
I don't know what actually boss means. I don't know. Been away far too long. But it is. We can do a lot of things what no other clubs can do, and it's a special club. The passion within this club is crazy. And Jason's right. We can capture that on film, and we can put it on CCTV for people to see all around the world. And it's brilliant. Great marketing tool as well.
A big mention there to Phil Reed, who's on his way to
I've seen him this morning.
A lot of those documentaries. I hope he was sober when you saw him.
I know, in all honesty, you talk about contract. He's one you need to sign up, because you could lose him, because he's brilliant at his job.
He is. We saw Divock Origi there before, and we had that conversation probably about 10 minutes ago about impact players. Coolest man you could mention. You'll see a big interview with him this week about waiting for his moment to shine, as he puts it. What a mindset that is, and we've talked all about Roberto Firmino, but just in case he's not fit, there is a purpose-made replacement.
He's in a great
score
place.
big goals in big games.
The Everton game, you know, the Barcelona game. He's, you know, he probably feels, because sometimes you can feel detached when you're not playing week in, week out, or you're a bit par plays. You can feel a bit lonely and a bit detached from what's going on. But you know what he's contributed. You know, from a player that looked like he was going out of the club and with a bit of a whimper, in all honesty, he's now looking like, you know, he's becoming a bit of a cult hero. The crowd have took to him. He's got a song after him. He probably really feels part of it. And if he was to miss out because Firmino's fit and come on, then he will give 120% because he absolutely feels part of what's going on. And it's a great substitute and a great tool to have.
It was a bit of a throwaway line, that, but they were all asked in the interviews this week about the songs, because virtually all of them now do have a song. At that moment that arrives as a player at Liverpool, that acceptance, what is it like?
Yeah, it's brilliant, you know. I think I was quite fortunate because in our day, you know, our forwards notoriously get, because they're scoring goals, they get, you know, but Liverpool, the Cop in our day, they used to go through the team, the Cop, you know, you'd have a song for every player. So when they came out, you know, from the tunnel at the beginning of the game, the Cop would go through all the players and they'd give a little, you know, little wave to them. And it means something to the fans. You're acknowledging them, you know, you're part of them. And hey, there's got a song for everyone now, and they're not just little songs like Johnny Aldridge, Jason.
No.
These are hymns, and the full-blown Beatles songs.
My song was remember the Macarena? He runs down the wing and his name is McAtee. He runs down the wing and his name is McAtee. I swear, right, when the fans were singing that, it's like when you recharge your battery, and it could be the 80th minute, and all of a sudden you get this. It's like someone just puts energy into it. And it's like you feel like you've run around the world.
Yeah.
It's like it's just wow. The hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and it's like the appreciation that, you know, I'm doing something right. The fans are singing about me because these are the best fans in the world, by bar none.
You're listening to, if you hadn't guessed it already, Jason McAtee and John Aldridge talking through this open training session, the last training session before Liverpool take on Tottenham Hotspur in this European Cup final. Lots of brilliant articles around this week, lots of brilliant interviews as well. You wonder about the revolution almost of the career of a Jordan Henderson, who's been here since 2011, who's going to be, we hope, the latest player then to get a testimonial, which is almost unheard of now in modern day Premier League football. Got as many Liverpool appearances as Kevin Keegan, for example, 50 caps for his country. I think there's only 4 Englishmen who've captained, you know, our team twice in a European Cup final. He's going to be that tomorrow night.
Wow.
What about the revolution of his career?
It is, because let's face it, you know, he had his knockers, and I was perhaps one of them in his early days, his first couple of 3 years, when, you know, things didn't go quite right for him. You know, he's playing right wing sometimes, and, you know, and then obviously, you know, he got moved into a position where he's comfortable, and gradually, bit by bit, you know, we've seen this player evolve. You know, it was always in him, I thought, and express himself, you know, and be able to handle the crowd, because you knew people were. Even now, I can't believe there's people still knocking him. I don't know whether they're just Evertonians pretending to be Liverpool fans or whatever, or Man United. I don't know, because there's no need to. He's been inspirational at times for Liverpool, and what I was saying before, and he played this holding role, and what Jurgen liked him to do was just like, get his baton and just like
Get it, give it.
you know, orchestrate things, you know what I mean? Get it and switch it and keep it, just keep the ball, keep it nice and tidy, but not look too forward. But what he's done, as I said before at the start of the show, since Fabinho's come in, he's been able to evolve and go into that more attacking role and express himself by scoring a couple of goals, making more goals, and actually what he's been doing with Trent, especially with Trent, getting lovely little balls in for Trent. One of the reasons why we scored is because our full-backs have been like wing-backs and they put great balls in. But Jordan Henderson's been imperative on the right-hand side, you know, helping, you know, feed down the right-hand side.
Yeah. I mean, you were behind him ever since he came from Sunderland. When you think, you know, there was almost a situation there where he was met as leverage in a swap deal for Clint Dempsey, for example. I mean, that is quite unbelievable to look back on. Now he's captain of Liverpool again.
Yeah, and you know, the story goes that he was told that this move was on, and he wanted to stay and fight for his place, and he did that. You know, and then he got the armband, and then unfortunately it was the armband off arguably Liverpool's greatest player. Steven Gerrard, which was always big boots to fill. But he's not Steven Gerrard. You know, he doesn't lead like Steven Gerrard. He leads by example, by his performances on the pitch, which is his energy, his desire, you know, his attitude is 110%. Probably the Barcelona game epitomised that as a captain's performance, what he offers as a player and a captain. I'm a big fan. You know, every team needs a Jordan Henderson, because a lot of his work goes unnoticed. His tracking back, his pressing. You know, he might not just get there, but he forces players to make a mistake and someone else might pick it up. But like John said, I think, you know, there was a little moment where him and Jürgen, you know, probably had words after the game, and they probably sat down and he's probably said, listen, I've got more to offer you. I want to get forward, I want to get into the box, you know, I want to create, you know, I want to be more of an attacking threat. And Jürgen, because he's his captain, because he's got the ability to do it, has let him have a go, and it's been successful. And now, you know, when you're looking at that player maybe to get forward, maybe a Shaqiri to come on, Jordan Henderson's your man now.
Do you think that could have been prompted by that semi-fallout then?
I absolutely
that change in position.
Because they probably had words. Probably Jordan wouldn't want to rock the boat. He probably wouldn't want to tell a manager. Somebody probably was just happy playing and doing a job for the team. But then all of a sudden you can have words with a manager, and then it comes out, doesn't it? The honesty can come out. You can say, listen, I want to play further forward. I might not have never said it to you, but I want to play further forward. And the manager might just have gone, oh, well done, let's have a go with him. Tried him in training, had a look at him and thought, yeah, he can do this job.
But the Southampton game in particular, it's like Jordan at the point to prove, you know, and you could see how lit up he was, especially when he scored the goal, and he certainly proved it that night. Hey, when he's got the captain's badge, you know, we've got captains all over the park, as I said before. He's been a really good captain for Liverpool, regardless of what anyone says. But all of a sudden now, I think he's gone to another level. He's a proper leader on the pitch, and that Southampton game, he got all his frustrations out, you know. That goal was fantastic. He started the first one, and then the last goal he scored. Yeah, absolutely, been brilliant.
He mentioned it quite a few times, hasn't he, Jurgen Klopp, that he probably had the toughest job in football following Steven Gerrard. Yeah, being given the armband by arguably Liverpool's greatest ever player. It's a thankless task, isn't it?
You can't win. I mean, there's been managers where, you know, Alex Ferguson, Jack Charlton, for us, you know, managers, you're on a loser already. It's just one of them situations, isn't it? You know, there are going to be people who disagree with it. There are going to be people who are going to mock your performances, but because off the back of what they've seen previous, you know. But like I mentioned before, Jordan Henderson is not a leader like Steven Gerrard. He's not a leader like Roy Keane or Patrick Vieira. You know, he's more dynamic leadership. It's more his energy, his enthusiasm for the game, and what he demands from the other players with that kind of performance. Because if he's running around a pitch giving everything, you know, he then can turn around to you and go, is there any chance you can put a shift in for me? Because he's doing it. You know, the player can't look at him and go, well, you ain't running around, you ain't closing down. He's actually doing it. So, you know, Stephen, having played in Legends games, can give you a look. You know, Barnsley could give you a look, and you would know you're in trouble. Jordan doesn't really do that, although he does try now and again, but he's not really that kind of player.
Well, he said that he changes into a different animal. His kids, he said, will be embarrassed of some of his language that he comes out with on the pitch.
I was horrible on a footy pitch.
You become that different animal, though, don't you?
You have to be. I mean, you know, you look at Rooney sometimes, the way he acts. You look at, you know, there's certain players. You were horrible on the football pitch, weren't you? I mean, you're not like that off the pitch, but you have. But that's your makeup, innit? That's what makes you who you are on the pitch. Yeah, you do anything.
That's why you make it to the top, though, isn't it?
Well, of course it is. That's the drive and the desire that you have. But it makes you sometimes a different person. You know, I could say some horrible things. I could throw a bad tackle in. You know, I threw a couple of punches every now and again, but that's what you do.
Even in Legends games.
Yeah, I mean, but that's why. Yeah, well, that time's running out now, and I'm getting too old. Glenn Johnson's just been asked to Hong Kong. I think we're on the bench here.
I feel I'm 60. But I've been watching. He's moving really well, Firmino. I've been watching him. Well, Jason's been gabbing on for the last 10 minutes, and he's been moving really, really well. So hopefully that's a good sign.
You said you'd be able to tell from this whether he plays. One thing you'll be able to tell from this at home, and it's probably turned down about 3 gears to what it was like in Marbella last week, but look at Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jordan Henderson if the ball ever gets given away. It's like a Premier League game. It matters, these five-a-sides or these small-sided games, who wins, Jace.
Mate, believe me, we used to play young v old, and then we played Scousers v rest of the world.
Yeah. You always want to win, to be honest. It is. It's just,
old v young was always a good one. Do you know the oldies never got beat?
No.
Never got beat.
We used to play as long as you had to play for the oldies to win.
It depends on who the manager is. Suey would play forever until he won it. But I played against Suey a couple of times. He'd go through you, Suey. Yeah. Suey would go through you like in these 5 sides, wouldn't he? As a manager, he was just that's that desire to win again. But yeah, you'd always want to win these games.
This has been shaved down, by the way. There are 12 substitutes on duty for the game tomorrow night, but the squad has been it's been shaved down from 26 to 23. Do
you know what? That's a good thing, Pete, because obviously everyone's involved again. This is a great thing for the manager as well. I think it was last year Danny Ings got left out, didn't he? And you felt so sorry for him, didn't you? Because at least he can include. Everyone's all included. And everyone's got a chance of getting on the pitch.
That probably helps the manager then, do you think, in terms of morale?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we're all as supporters as well looking to the future of this Liverpool squad as well, and one player who has been involved and is in the squad for tomorrow night is Ryan Brewster. You've seen an awful lot of him, John, in the under-18s and the under-23s. He's already said next season is his year. What a learning experience this is going to be for him, though, to be part of this.
Well, it's a brilliant experience, just to be amongst it, and experience it. The lads, we all know the potential he's got, and the club's seen that. They've given him a contract, other clubs were scouting him out. Now it's up to him. He's got the contract, I'm sure Jurgen will have a good look at him in pre-season. He'll get good game time. Hopefully he can all what we're seeing of him can come to fruition.
There's 3 of them in the shot there, isn't there? He's just walked out, Ryan Brewster, but you see Joe Gomez at the bottom. We talked about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Joe Gomez back fully fit again, but he's had Joel Matip in the form of his life, hasn't he?
Yeah. I feel sorry for Joe. He just was established himself as the first choice centre half along Van Dijk. They had a great partnership. He's got everything, pace. He can win a ball in the air. He's got good feet. He's got good range of passing. He sees danger. And then unfortunately his season was cut short by that terrible injury, and it just...
Do you know the ironic thing about that? He got injured playing right back.
Here's another legend there, walking past.
Allegedly. Steve McManaman just walking
There
behind
he
the
is.
camera.
Hello, Stevie, get on here, mate. How are you? You okay?
Macca, who's won this competition twice. Come in and have a quick chat with us. How are you feeling about Liverpool, Macca, the chances?
I am very confident, to be very honest. Looking at them today, looking at them training, they look really sharp. I thought I was watching from up on high. I thought with the experience of last year, they're in great form, aren't they? I mean, I know we're slightly biased, we will say that, but I think if you look all in all at how the team finished the season, how Liverpool are playing, what a year they just had, the manager. I mean, we all like Tottenham, we all like Mauricio Pochettino, but I think Liverpool will win.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course you
played out here. What's the heat going to be like tomorrow?
I think it won't be too bad. You can feel it now. What are we? It's 6:30. The game will kick off at 9 o'clock.
How will it affect the players?
I don't think it'll affect them
Last
that much.
20 minutes?
I think the adrenaline of how the players react to the situation and the fact that Liverpool managed this type of game last year. I know they lost, but they were here. They understood. They knew what the surroundings were. They knew about the tickets. They knew about the fans. I think that will really help them because it will be energy sapping because of the nerves and the butterflies in your stomach. And I think that could possibly affect the Tottenham players more than Liverpool.
Okay. Does it take you back, Macca, to being in this scenario night before a Champions League final?
It's brilliant, isn't it, being here? With the fact that I got here yesterday, I saw Jason last night. I saw a load of old teammates. Being here, watching them, at a different type of stage. Yes, you've played it, but it's great now being a fan and. My family are coming over and my little boy's coming over, and to experience that with them, I can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. It's just another dimension. I only had about 25 seconds this year. It was a disaster.
They're going through it as well. Everybody's asking them for tickets. Macca, thank you for joining us.
Cheers, Macca.
He's on
I'll call you later. See you later.
They're brother-in-laws, in case you didn't know. Jason and Steve.
Yes, we are.
Who's the favourite?
Who got the nicest looking sister?
I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment on that.
Not sure. That one's on for before 9 o'clock.
Sitting the fence there, Jay.
He's the coolest man ever. I know you're related to him, but here's a guy who's won 2 Champions League, scored a goal in a Champions League final as well. But he's admitting there that it's life-changing for him now as a Liverpool fan.
Do you know, probably the biggest compliment you can give him is I spend a lot of time with him, and I'll be in the car and the phone will go and he'll start speaking Spanish. And he'll come off the phone, I'll go, who's that? He'll go, Luis Figo. Or Ronaldo. Ronaldo's just rang him. And you go out with him. I went for dinner last night. Cafu straight over to him. And they hugging him. And they love him. They absolutely love him. And
he's
I think
grounded.
that says a lot about him, doesn't it?
Yeah,
what he is.
I think most Scousers, we're grounded because we've been brought up.
Yeah.
Robbie's the same.
Robbie's the same. Not lost the roots.
No, Stevie's the same.
Apart from Aldo.
You see what you get.
Aldo's never in the country now. He's constantly acclimatising.
Wearing all black now, dressing like a magician.
Johnny Cash.
What about this session that you just watched there?
Yeah.
Then we said right at the very start that it was more about nervous energy and trying to get rid of it. They all look pretty happy. Nobody's injured.
You can see the excitement.
Main positive.
I'll tell you one thing. The manager's actually, the whole training session is thinking, no one pick up an injury.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking. And it's really hard now because they want to stay out. Like we used to want to stay out.
You want to stay out and do a bit of shooting, a bit of penalties and all that.
Fizzing balls.
Get in,
get it
Jack
in.
Charlton, don't be wasting.
What was Ronnie Moran like?
Don't be wasting your energy on here. Get in, have your shower.
What was Ronnie Moran like?
Oh yeah,
get
in.
Oh, go mad.
You're wasting energy.
Ronnie, I'll be in a minute.
Jack Charlton was the worst for that.
Ah,
Jack was the worst.
No shooting. Well, you say no shooting in practice. It's the centre backs that are staying out to have shots on goal. They've practiced penalties as well, Aldo, as you would expect. They were staying behind to do a bit of that in Marbella. I have to say at this stage the penalties look fantastic. Hopefully we're not
don't
used
even
up
go
all
there,
of that.
Pete, no.
But I mean they have to be prepared for every scenario.
You're spot on. You know, whether it was in Spain or whatever. You know, things happen in football. Hey. You could easily go to penalties. We all know that, and you've got to be prepared. But it's at the moment and on the night. But it does you no harm to practice and practice and practice.
Were you prepared? World Cup 90? Did you know the penalty takers or?
No, we didn't.
Because we did in 2002.
No, I'll tell you what we used to do.
Didn't know. Made it up as it went to pens.
Yeah, but what we used to do. Niall Quinn, we used to always like a little bet. Niall Quinn would go and goal. He was a great goalkeeper.
What's it? 3 pens, wasn't it? Tenner.
Great penalty.
3 pens. Tenner.
So you'd have a bet with him. A tenner, you'd score the 3 penalties. Miss one, he wins the tenner. I tell you what, not many people got the 3 off.
Really?
Yeah,
Even with the stutter. Even with the Aldo stutter.
I've done him a few times.
I didn't.
This fella here takes a great penalty, Virgil van Dijk. It doesn't surprise you. I don't think there's anything he can't do. Look at that. Out of 10. Oh no, he didn't do it.
He wants to go again, look.
He's kicking the ball in the air at the moment, Virgil van Dijk, and he's trying to see marks out of 10 who controls it well. Touches slightly off, but we'll settle for that. What will tonight be like, Aldo? What will the players do now? They'll go back and eat, obviously, but will they be in each other's rooms? Will they want to be on their own?
No, it'll be in each other's room. You know, the excitement's there. You know, you just, as I say, you want it to go on, but it's like, I tell you what it's like. You can only way you can say, it's a lot of kids listening to the show or watching. It's like Christmas Day. It's like Christmas Eve now.
Yeah.
You know, it really is, because you know the build up. You want to get up and and you go back and the sacks are there of Santa. Hopefully the medals are there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, of UEFA. But it is. You know, it's so exciting.
You go along with that?
Absolutely. I thought Macca made a great point there. It's, you know, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of adrenaline pumping around. You'll get back tonight. They'll eat. You know, they'll go back, they'll shower, they'll eat, they'll want to get to the rooms, they'll want to, you know, go to sleep and stuff. But like Macca said, it's about, they've been in this situation before, it's about handling that adrenaline. You know, it can be a great thing, adrenaline, but it can also be detrimental to you. It can sap your energy. You know, you've got to be able to handle it. And Macca made a great point. You know, these have been here before. It could affect the Tottenham players in a different way because they haven't. But yeah, they'll eat, they'll be in the rooms, probably watching a couple of box sets they watch now, innit?
Yeah,
box
Line
sets.
of Duty.
Yeah.
That's what Jordan Henderson's been watching.
No spoilers.
Line of Duty's on Series 4.
I'm just into Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah, for a treat.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the first.
Hatton Garden, I'm on.
Yeah.
Hatton Garden.
No,
it's about 5 fellas your age at Robert Bank.
45.
All of the players will, of course, be watching the training session that you've just commentated through, so hopefully you said nice things as well. No pressure there. We are back on the air at 10 a.m. in the morning. We're going to have breakfast together. We're going to build up together. We're going to get rid of each other's nerves. And then, of course, we hope that we'll be part of all of your match day as you build up as well. 2 hours before kick-off, open up a can or maybe put the kettle on and spend some time with us. We've got a couple of special guests coming your way tomorrow morning. Do sleep well, and we'll see you in the morning. From John Aldridge, Jason McAteer, and me, and the rest of the Scousers inside the stadium. We'll see you tomorrow. Sleep well.
Bye.